And our final speaker is a former senator, John Madigan, who I just need to remind people we do have a raffle to raise money. These things do cost money to run, and he has kindly donated a Ned Kelly helmet. And so, not that I hope that I need it to get out of town, but it is up the back and we do really appreciate it. I think we heard a second ago about Senator Hinch, and we understand that parliaments over recent years have been hung parliaments, particularly in our Senate, and it is really important, as I said, if you don't have the numbers, how do you go about getting them? And John Madigan's been in that position where he's been lobbied, I am sure, incredibly hard, and I think it'd be really interesting to hear about how do we get people like Hinch and others on that crossbench, how do we get them across the line? And finally, I'll just say, John was instrumental in starting a Senate inquiry a few years ago that did go up and down the river and uncovered many of the issues we've spoken about today. People have been on about them for a while now. So I think it is important that we hear from someone who has actually been in that position of being lobbied from all sides. And John, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite humbling to be asked by Shelley to come here today to speak to you on the issue of the Murray-Darling Basin and the so-called Murray-Darling Basin plan. We've had some very interesting contributions being given here today, and ones that come to mind are Professor Giles and John Cannellan's, because the outstanding thing about what they presented to you here today was they gave you facts, not bastardised information, but facts. Now, in federal parliament, as Tom just mentioned, I was in the unenvious position of being one of those terrible crossbench senators. And one thing that I learnt in the 5 years that I was there was a lot of facts get bastardised. And we've also heard in some later contributions today about attributing blame to people. And in my time there and taking my interest in water and the Murray-Darling Basin plan in particular, I know that there's many groups that come to Canberra and lobby politicians and purport to represent bodies of people. Well, let me assure you, some do a very good job of presenting the facts to elected members of Parliament, and some, quite frankly, do a pretty shithouse job. Now, I was always on my guard because I felt that it was amazing, you'd come out to speak to people, and I've travelled from, St George in the north in Queensland to Goolwa at the Murray mouth. And the information that was presented to myself and to other crossbench independent senators was often skewed. You see, it's the integrity of the information that is presented to members of Parliament that is in question. In Professor Giles' paper, he says, entitled Watching the Tide Roll Away, Advocacy and the Obfuscation of Evidence. Spot on the money. We've heard alleged issues of water being taken out of the Darling, in Four Corners, the ABC, these exposés. Now, I say alleged because until it's been tried in a court of law, we don't know whether it's the truth or not. But we all should be condemning the theft of water over and above allocation or taken at a time when the water is not there. We should be strongly condemning it, and the bodies that represent us should be coming out and strongly condemning this if it is correct, because it's the honest farmers, irrigators and townspeople up and down the Murray-Darling Basin system that suffer because of these abuses of our system. The biggest problem we've got in state and federal parliament is a lack of integrity. It doesn't matter what your point of view on any given issue is, as long as people play with a straight bat. I can accept different points of view. What I can't accept is people who don't tell the truth and are inconsistent. You know, we heard about Senator Hinch before. Well, we're not going to win him over by just shit-canning him. And, you know, I may not personally like the man either. But the fact of the matter is, we need his vote. And as Damien alluded to, and Peter Walsh and Suzanne, the fact is this is a numbers game. But, you know, and he doesn't know much about it, nor do the people sitting in Smith Street in Collingwood having a cafe latte, or the people, you know, sitting in Newtown in Sydney. They don't know much about the issue. But they're the people who are voting. Like, you know, one only has to think about recently in the case of the Batman election, whereas allegedly the biggest thing on people's mind in Batman was what was happening in Adani in North Queensland. Yet they don't give a stuff about the people up there who need a job. They don't care about the local tyre service or the fuel distributor or the local hardware. All they care, allegedly, is about what's happening with the Adani mine. You know, this is a parallel universe. But like I say, it gets back to integrity, it gets back to having people who tell the truth, it gets back to having the facts so our members of parliament can make informed decisions. And you won't change anything by bludgeoning people, but by winning their hearts and minds. Thank you. And just finally, I'd like to express my gratitude to Shelley for the work that she's done, and to the great support of Vicky Mayer and her family's company, Deniliquin Freighters, for helping put this on, because it does cost a lot, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, and please don't take it for granted. Thank you.